I edited myself, but I figured start of season 2, episode 1.
Yeah.
Do I just go all in on the swear positive space here?
I am wearing a fluent in foul language tank top today. So if littles will be around, be aware, as always, when we're recording, right? Well, we are jumping in live today, and we probably will be more in the future because, man, editing is a job if you aren't aware of it. And we both have businesses of our own, and we have been continuing the conversations, but haven't had time to edit them and get them out there to you. So we're inspired by what Kelly is doing over at Fondy Famous by jumping in and going live. And while we say this, I think she's also going more towards bringing on an editor. So there's pros and cons to both. And she also encouraged Holly over at Araya to go live more. And Jenny and I were like, hey, we need to get these conversations out there in a timely fashion. So we're going to be going live at you with our season 2, episode 1.
Yeah.
Do
Did we
we want to?
title it?
Did we title it?
Well, I mean, what we put out there on Facebook is we're back,
We're,
season 2, episode
we're
1.
back.
But we've got a lot to talk about.
We
We've
do.
got a list, bulleted list
We're going to
that
try to
we
be
will,
organized.
yeah, we'll try our very best to stick to.
Yes.
But yeah, really just wanted to cover that. Obviously, we're gonna explore and experiment. So I hope this go live is working on YouTube and Facebook. We will.
Can we check that?
Well, sure. Give me a
Jump
second.
over on the Facebook side and see. We'll see what we can see.
It looks like it. Oh, see, it's a little lagged,
It's a
but it's
lag.
there.
Hold on. Like this is live. Let's just me check in and see if I can see that it's working. Since we can't see any comments, I know everybody likes to go, "Hey, like this if it's working," or comment. But since we're running through Riverside, I can't do that.
Yeah, the plan while you're checking. The
Yeah.
plan is, and maybe I'm getting ahead of ourselves here, but the plan is to continue to have guests and explore various things. I don't want to, put the cart before the horse here and get too far ahead in what we're going to talk about. But the plan is to have conversations like we have in the past, do them live because we want to be realistic. We're having these conversations. The reason this podcast started was we wanted to share them. These were conversations that were life giving, helping us grow. This season will be a little bit different, but they're just as important to share with everyone. And going live and just getting it out there, not worrying about any imperfections, and just being realistic with our schedules. This is what we're doing this season. So,
I don't see. Oh, it does say we're live. We're live on YouTube. I can't verify it on Facebook.
oh,
It says here it shows live next to that.
okay.
Thank you for bearing with us. If you're here listening, we will get into content. We just don't want to waste our
Oh, there goes the
breath.
cat.
Well, I have 3 of them. They're going to show up. So you guys know that.
Right.
All right. Since it's recording and it is going out to YouTube, we'll just have to figure out Facebook later, you
Yeah.
think?
If that's not working.
Yeah.
Weird.
Okay. Let's just jump
Oh,
in there.
here. Do I need to go push it here?
Go. Yeah, try that. Live video starting.
It said might be a bit lagged. Oh my gosh.
All
Okay.
right.
Technology, the expression on my face, depending on what you're saying.
Priceless.
Oh
Oh, that
gosh.
is some of the best when you're editing and when you pause it and we look all funny. Okay.
Well, for those that are maybe coming on Facebook and joining in slightly delayed, uh, thank you. And we're sorry if it feels like a big cluster.
Because it is a
Yeah,
clusterfuck.
this is our
So
first time, obviously, using a tool that's going live to YouTube and Facebook. So we will work out the kinks.
thanks for learning with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we thought we would start with a recap because it's been a beat since we've been here. We were had to kind of like think back in our calendars on when was the last time we recorded, and it was the week after the election in November. So I think it dropped like at the end of November, and man, the world has changed a lot since then, and we've been through a lot since then. So we thought we'd
Yeah.
give you a little like personal catch up. Do you want me to start?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh man, I winter was needed, definitely needed. I rested a lot. And I moved my body. So like rested meaning like I wasn't out doing the things, but I needed some time to just like I worked honestly, what I did was I replaced the flooring on the main floor of my house. So giving that project, the project gave my body a space to move and my mind a place to like process through. We had so many great guests
We did.
last year, but when you take in all of that information, it's like in my head, like what's my thought, what's my voice in here, and what was other people's, and like like going through the process of like really solidifying what I wanted to keep from last year and
Yeah.
what really did still resonate with me as truth, or what was I carrying that wasn't my truth.
Did you re-listen to some of them? I
I
know, like
did, but I
you
didn't
did a
get
lot of the editing,
yeah,
so
I didn't get through the whole season, but I did eventually go back and start listening again. But before I knew it, we were already running like into the retreat. So
yeah,
I really did take that time to be present with my family for the holidays and rest, rest, rest. Yeah,
yeah,
it was a lot.
which is hard to do, but so important.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, well, I feel like, yeah, from season one to now, or end of season one to now, it's just flown by. Obviously, we went into the holidays, and there was the family time and friend time and chaos of that, good and not bad, but just chaos. Um, and then I fell into the busy trap. I said yes to too many things. But in between there, we did have the rewilding retreat. And I feel
Mhm.
like I really got, like, I didn't get fully sucked into the busy trap and overcommitting myself until after the rewilding
Yeah.
retreat.
Yeah.
And so I do feel like for the majority of the winter, um, I did rest.
Mhm.
Maybe not
Mhm.
as much as I could have, but I did have some stillness and reflection. Um,
Merlin saying hi to y'all. If you can hear my kitty.
but yeah, so the rewilding retreat was in February.
Uh-huh.
We had a great group of individuals, of women, come
It was
together.
so good.
It was amazing, life changing for
Yes.
me, but we've heard it from
Other
others
people
too.
too. I remember showing up Sunday morning just like buzzing from a high, and I'm like, I know this feeling.
Hmm.
Do you remember what I said?
No, I don't quite remember, but as soon as you
It,
say it, I'll remember.
I felt like I was like, that moment, the moments when you're falling in love, like just like in a rush. And I was like, oh, yeah, this is what it feels like when
Mm,
you're falling in love. And like when you're discovering those areas of your magic, that's so much what it looks like. Bodhi just experienced that a couple days ago
mm.
with the Madison Scouts when they
Yeah, I saw
marched
that
at
post.
in Fond du Lac.
Mhm.
I watched him falling in love in real time, and I'm like, when
Mm.
you just sink into that, like,
Yeah.
yeah. So that,
Connecting to passion, connecting to purpose,
yeah,
heart opening.
knowing you're in the right place at the right time.
Mm,
Yeah.
I love that.
So that was my one of my strongest memories from the retreat. But like the community, it always comes back to community.
Yeah.
The women that showed up and like not just present, but like showed up and did the work with
Mm.
us and were real and raw and dug in, and like a lot of the participants also presented in some way. I'd
Yeah.
say a good
Couple.
handful of
Yep.
them,
Yep.
so it was a really well held container.
Mhm.
I never felt like sometimes when groups get bigger, it feels like but you don't want anybody to fall in the cracks, right? But we
Yeah.
just really were all able to show up and hold the space together and show up as equals. Like nobody was like, I'm the expert in this room. Everybody needs to listen to me.
No. Yeah.
No, it was like we were exploring, we searching. We go to me searching, but as a group, we call it we
Yeah.
searching.
We did an intentional end on research, but I feel like we were doing it throughout.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just great, and then the women that went to that also continue. Some of them continued in a follow up container, and then continued also to come. They're coming to monthly circle now. So like
Yeah.
the sisterhood and connection there is like when it starts in an experience like that, it just is like infused with so much love and bonding,
Yeah, absolutely.
that there's like a shared trust there for them to show up and continue doing the work, which is what we've always from the very beginning have wanted to see. So thank you to all of you
Yeah.
for continuing to show up.
Yeah, and it was so cool too. I mean, obviously, everybody came to the retreat with some different intentions, but really wanting to connect within, to rewild. I guess you could say that was a theme. But there's been individuals who have been very intentional with like taking some leaps, starting
Oh
businesses,
gosh, yes.
exploring just different ideas and possibilities. So it's been so cool to see that.
Challenging beliefs, that
Hmm.
is like the biggest thing, right? Like and trust. I think it's like building that trust in new relationship, testing if you can trust in old relationships
Oh,
at a new level. Like that's been a really big theme. Yeah. Oh, so many things we could go with that. We could do a whole
we
episode just
could.
on that. But
Yeah, but we'll kind of put a bow on that for now
yeah.
and say if you are interested, while we don't have a future one planned, we definitely see doing one. We explored different venue options. I think the biggest feedback was the women wanted more of a immersive experience because we did 3 days, but you'd go home every night. Well, some people got hotel rooms,
Mm-hmm.
right, and were able
Mm-hmm.
to have their you know time to go within and do what they needed versus kind of falling back into just the rhythms of home. But yeah, most wanted this immersive experience where they could connect more and
Right.
maybe more. We had
Right.
a lot of casual time, but again, with a lot to cover, it was kind
To
of hard.
socialize and process and community and just to get to know each other like on that personal
Yeah,
level. It is continued beyond. So I
it is.
we should ask like
Is
feedback
that
long
still
term.
something they'd want? Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, comment
we could keep
or
going.
let us know. Send us a message, email us,
Yeah.
whatever it might be. We'll keep you in the loop because it is something. I mean, if Aaron was falling in love, and I didn't have that exact feeling, but I definitely felt like this was so needed for myself, and I saw other individuals just really stepping into possibility,
Mm-hmm.
and connecting with their wild self,
Mm-hmm.
their dreams, all of that. So it was great, and more to come.
So after the retreat, that was like the kickoff into spring, really. Like we were in
Yeah,
February, but we did our vision boards. And my vision board was one thing, and then spring energy hit for people that have done our cycles workshop
yeah.
before. And I went into all the things as well, a little bit different of a direction because I was feeling the collective energy, anxiety of all the shifts and turns with the new administration. I'm very attuned to a lot of people. So, like, the fear that it was rising was creating a lot of anxiety in me too. And I was reaching out as best I could to stay connected to my people that would help me feel grounded. Reaching out to people who did not see things the same way as I did. And there was some help for me in that because they didn't want me to be scared. They don't want me to feel that way. So
Mhm.
it was letting them love me through it too and understand certain aspects of it, right? Like that was really helpful for me. But eventually, what really has served me the most in I don't like the word managing. I'm sorry, but what has served me the most in paying attention to that feeling is like it goes back to what Alan said about rebels in action.
Yeah.
And you guys already know because I posted that we already recorded with Araya. That's going to drop next week, way delayed because, once again, all the busy
Life,
things.
life.
But the connection with Araya was huge on my journey,
Yeah.
and exploring a world that I have experiences around me in the recovery world, but I've never really dove into it from a coaching perspective or support outside of my friends and family that have
Right.
struggled in certain ways. So diving in there to learn and to make a difference. That really for me was like, I can't sit and just be in fear. I want to be of service. So that
Mm.
was my response
Yeah.
to the anxiety. I had to put it to work, and there was a going to the do. But aside of Araya, I've also been having many conversations with people within our community. Because I'm born and raised in Fond du Lac, I will always be a Fondy girl. It doesn't matter if I live in Lamira. I will always be a Fondy girl, and that's where my network is. So I, started talking to my people. And when you're a lifelong resident, your people are spread all over the community.
Yeah.
So I started asking them to teach me what were the needs in the community. I have a lot of helpers in my circle, like a lot in a lot of different realms. I don't want to go into the list, but I asked them to start teaching me to take in how is all of this affecting the community, and where was the community at before this even started,
Yeah.
right? So I love to learn. If you haven't figured that out about me yet, I love to connect and I love to learn. So I went out and dove in as a student and learned a lot. I don't know it all. I'll never act like I do. And I asked a lot of questions. Some questions were wanted, some questions were not wanted, but if you've been coached by me, you know that feeling.
It's good in the end. It's
It's
important.
important work,
Yes.
yes. And all of this to circle back that I didn't understand why my rebel voice, divine guidance, God saying to me, choose a language that feels right to you.
Yeah.
Why was I being directed in this way at this time? um and sustaining my business while I'm doing it, and taking care of my family while I'm doing it, and we all have all the things to do, so why add this huge caseload on for me? And I started to realize that there weren't a lot of people taking in the big picture, and because I am a systems thinker,
Yeah.
I was able to start seeing facets of the community, and all the different circles of helpers. There are lots of different circles of helpers,
And so
right?
many people care.
They
So many people have their
do.
heart in
They
the right
do.
place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just learning about the rebels in action, and that felt good for me because I don't want to talk about politics.
Yeah. That's
I f-
yeah.
I feel so powerless and helpless, and I don't want to scream at anybody else. I want to understand other people, but there's also a point where I can understand you and you can understand me, and we can agree to disagree if we're not going to come together. But I also have a heart of action, that rebel in action, right? So
Mm.
it's like I want to have those conversations, but if something is happening that hurts, I feel a call to do something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter that it's the society now, but it's the same if it's my children or my friends or whatever, right? If something hurts, I'm called to be of service. So we started chatting about like what season 2 going to be about, right? And that's when we recorded with Araya.
Yeah.
And a lot of the other people that I've been talking to are going to be on our agenda if they're willing to go live. That's the scary part.
That is the scary part. But again, I think
Yeah.
there's so much richness that happens in conversations, not intentionally behind closed doors or in the corners of
Mhm.
cafes or whatever.
Mhm. Mhm.
But that's really, I mean, when we come back to the mission of
Mhm.
the Red Couch Rebels and the rebellion, that's
Mhm.
behind all of this
Mhm.
positive rebellion. Um,
I
it's
have brought up to Jenny that we may be, like, flagged just because of our name, by the way. We are Red Couch. We are about love and connection if AI is listening.
right. But our mission has always been to challenge the status quo of disconnection,
Yes,
right? And that
absolutely.
comes back, whoops, as I'm talking with my hands here, comes back around to making space to be curious with
Mhm.
others,
Mhm.
with looking within. And season 2 for us really feels like, all right, we've got all of these circles. Like, you have your connections, I have my connections,
Mhm.
each of our connections have their own circles,
Mhm.
and there's so much possibility if we can sit down and with that focus on connection and possibility acknowledging what is, but also what could be.
And building bridges between those networks. Jenny and I are both natural connectors, and we actually know a lot of connectors.
Yeah.
So being more intentional about connecting so that the energy, well, I'll just say that, like, I feel we said this outside, so I'm just gonna
Yeah,
say
go
it.
with it.
We always kind of
Riff.
pre-do our thing,
Yeah.
and I said outside, I was like, I don't want we can't let people fall in the cracks while we're screaming at each other. And we all play different roles in the world today. And it's not that I don't believe in protesting. It's not that I don't believe in contacting your congressman and all of those things.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like that those battles need to be done too, but that just was not my role in that way. And I just want to be one of the people catching people if the when the people start to fall. And what I mean by fall is we're talking about Maslow's hierarchy of
Yeah.
needs. And that's a really important thing to address why such a shift in our content and our direction, even though you will see the same themes circling through. When we do not feel safe in our basic needs, you can't you your brain literally cannot be working on self actualization. It just doesn't work that way. So as people feel less safe, people who were safe before that maybe have been in our niche marketing as a business stance, right? If they're feeling less secure in their job or society as a whole, they're not going to be able to think that way. And we want to be in touch with the times and relevant, right? So we don't want to be over here talking about this stuff when you're worried about what's going on in your neighborhood.
Right.
So that's a part of the reason for the shift. But what we talked about last season absolutely
Still
still applies
applies.
over here.
Yeah.
And maybe some will lose some listeners because they're in a place where they're feeling safe enough and secure enough to keep working on their self actualization and
Yeah.
in other ways, and we will still be around and we still love you. But we are really focusing on action and community and love and connection just in a slightly different way.
Yeah, it really feels like, and when you started sharing a bit about the conversations you've had, I just had this overwhelming sense because I felt it, but when you were talking, I felt it again of just like, what can I do?
Yeah.
And not even, to change things, but to have an impact, to feel like what you're doing makes a difference. I think I maybe talked about it last season a little bit, like,
Mm-hmm.
and I know there's several friends and others out there that just have this, like, what's the point? What the
Mm-hmm.
fuck are we doing? First F bomb.
I got you a little earlier, but
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry. I
it's
missed
all
it.
right.
Okay.
Jenny's first
Second
F.
one. My first one. Was floating around.
Uh,
Anyways.
Wonder which cat that came off of.
But yeah, so if you've thought that, felt that, you can hit a point of, all right, well, I'm just gonna, I mean, needs coming from more of a shutdown. Like, it just
Mm,
fuels that pattern and cycle of further shutdown, further isolation, and that doesn't feel good,
yeah.
right? So I think so much of the conversations you're having that I am excited to jump into more so. Like I said, got a little busy there after March, spring.
Mm-hmm.
Summer energy is different for me, which feels great. But I'm excited for the co creation and the
Mm-hmm.
collaboration
Mm,
and the conversations, of course, but that proactive, again, like, how has it been done?
mm,
And, like, what do we need to understand differently or more? I think
mm-hmm.
that curious nature in me, like, I can't let that go. And I feel like I mean, we can talk about problems day in and day out, but nothing's going to change if we don't bring people together to sit in circle as peers,
Mm-hmm.
obviously with various expertise and knowledge and understanding, um, and just explore what could be, and then taking action around it.
Mm-hmm. Well, part of what we said outside too is like the status quo has already been challenged, right? So like what are we fighting for now? I don't feel like we can easily just go back to where we were, and if we're being 100% honest, where we were
Wasn't working.
wasn't even working. So what can we do in response to what has happened?
Yeah.
to build better nets. And part of that in my conversations was bridging between the government association or what would that be? Offices, the government
Sure.
offices with the nonprofit offices, with the for-profit world, with creatives, right? Like if we can bring people together, we can find solutions from borrowing from each other's wisdom that has never existed before. And Araya will be a great episode for you guys to start with because they are doing things differently. And I don't want to steal the thunder of the next episode.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the thing is like the status quo is already challenged.
Right.
So, what are we building for tomorrow? Other people have an agenda, but we get autonomy to choose what is our part in history of what will be what will be the history of today,
Right.
right? So what do you want to be a part of?
Yeah. So who do you know? I know we're still planning,
Yeah.
but who else do we anticipate having on the red couch?
Oh,
Do we
I
want
have.
to go there?
Oh man. So I've been talking to Brenda at the Opportunity Center and AdvoCap. She has an amazing idea. Talking about the basic needs of the lowest level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. We're talking shelter, we're talking food, we're talking like the basics, right? So the Opportunity Center was opened after the law was passed in Fond du Lac around unhoused. I think that was last year,
Okay.
and they are triaging the unhoused in Fond du Lac, and she's getting I wanted real numbers. That was another thing when I'm a researcher. So if I can't get real numbers online, I'm going to go find the resource that's going to give me real numbers. And
Pick them up. Pick up the
oh,
phone.
and I
Call.
make phone calls. People love it when no,
Who
they
are
don't.
you?
They hate it
What's
when I call
who are
them.
you? Who are you with? What do you? Yeah, what are you looking for?
Yeah.
All fair questions. but
Yeah, that was on my personal Facebook. I was like, apparently I'm completely out of touch with the times because I still pick up the phone and make a phone call, and people would prefer to schedule that stuff nowadays. I'm
send
like,
me an email.
and when people do call me unexpectedly, I'm like, oh, you still use a phone as a phone? Like I do. That's cool. But yeah, I don't remember where we were going. Where were we
Who
going?
we're talking with? Who
Who we're
we
going to
want
be
to talk
talking
to? I mean,
to.
obviously we
So
don't have them scheduled out
yes,
yet, but
I would love to get Brenda at the Opportunity Center. She has a ton of experience, a ton of wisdom, boots on the ground, literally working with the population, and has access to the data because Opportunity Center is connected with AdvoCap. They are privately funded through donations at this point. There's no federal funding attached to them. Um, if I am saying anything wrong, Brenda, you can jump in on the comments and let them know. But I think I got it all right. So her, and then the Nick at Hope on the Block. Actually, my sister works over at the food pantry. So the people who in Fond du Lac who run the organizations, the food pantry, Hope on the Block, and Broken Bread, Annie
yeah,
over at Broken
yep,
Bread, they, I believe, should be an inspiration to what is possible if you collaborate and you keep people at the center of what you're doing. They are sharing resources, they are communicating. It's not just the food resources. Like if they're driving
yeah,
somewhere to get something, they work together so they're not making two trips places, and I'm sure there's 1,000 other ways that they are collaborating, all in service that they're serving the same people, and people are what matters. So I don't know if we can get one of them or some of them to join us.
yep.
um who else did we talk about?
I mean, we did have a little bit of back and forth with Amber with United Way,
Amber with United Way.
talking about the 211,
Yep.
and obviously it changes potential. I don't
We
know.
don't even know where we're at
Yeah,
on that, but like we really want to make sure that we are reserving and maintaining the services that have already been established,
yeah,
like 211. And we just want to make sure that if things like that would become vulnerable, what do we need to do as a community and as a society to protect these things? I don't know how vulnerable it is. I've gotten some countering
okay,
information. So I'm still waiting for a status report on that, but when we know, then Amber would be a great one to
yeah.
have
To
on.
plan, yeah,
And even Greg at Fond du Lac Area Foundation.
yeah.
I haven't met you yet, Greg.
Greg, I might be calling you.
I keep hearing your name thrown out. So just and Krista over
Yeah.
at Sophia,
Yeah.
she and I just chatted yesterday about the two worlds of recovery and servant leadership, learning from each other, and just doing things that have never really been done before, and that's exciting to me. That we're looking at tearing down silos, and that is what's going to be needed to build the net
Yeah.
that's going to really help people in long term, get people into long term recovery, get people out of the Drexel Center. They have nowhere to go right now because
Sure.
there's no affordable housing in Fond du Lac, right? And shore up the food systems in Fond du Lac as people lose their SNAP benefits and they then need to lean more on the pantries. So some of this might sound, I don't know, uninteresting maybe to some people.
Yeah, depending on what you're looking for. I mean, I think there's
Yeah.
so many different podcasts out there that are self growth or maybe more entertainment. But there's something really important about being connected to community. And even if you're listening and you're not from the Fond du Lac area, I think what we are wanting to model here and inspire here is like having those sorts of conversations and connecting.
Yeah,
Um,
model for what can you learn about your community.
yeah,
And when we talk to these people, we're not losing the rebel. I want to hear like how are they, what is driving them forward, and how it's still like
yeah,
how do you connect to your inner
passion.
rebel, your
Yeah,
passion, your purpose, like all of them have that in them.
yep,
And exploring that will look similar to last season.
absolutely.
And honestly, like rebels in action, I said this before too, is like it's not just in these food insecurity things. Like what is your passion? Like are you a teacher? Are you a baker? Are you like your heart is going to drive you in service in some way? These were just the people that we started with, and we don't have a long list because we know our journey is always unfolding, and we
Always.
don't want so much structure that we can't be flexible. And we want to talk to a variety of people, obviously, but we want to get you good like facts for the local community from sources that have the information. And we want to invite you, if you have skills and your heart is drawing you there,
Hmm.
to join the
Yeah,
conversation. Nobody fucking invited me. I invited myself.
yeah.
So
Just started picking up the phone, making calls,
yeah.
showing up at meetings,
Yeah.
asking important questions, being
Yeah.
curious. Yeah, and being proactive because yeah, it's not going to change.
Oh, Lighthouse Christian Church is another one too. They're
Um,
big. They're really big in the community, and I know the churches in general are. That's one I haven't met yet either, but I would love to talk to sink into those spaces too.
cool.
Um, so yeah, that's the direction that we're going. If you have suggestions, put them
Yeah,
down in the comments,
yeah.
please,
Throw them
because
our way as
we
well.
we want to hear who you want to hear from too. And if you have specific questions even that you don't know about in our community, oh, you know me, I will go find it. So, what was next on our checklist?
I
How are
mean,
we
we're
doing?
doing pretty good. We're just over 30 minutes in, although Facebook's probably a little delayed because technology. And I'll
Yeah,
take the blame on that. Yeah, I mean,
no
I think the
blame.
big thing we talked about circles, we talked about this really being something, Fond du Lac or beyond, we want to inspire others to go back and have these explorations. I think one of the things that'll be really interesting because I'm sure at some point we'll have Krista from Sophia Partners and maybe even pull Ginny. Ginny was in season one
Mm.
with us, and Ginny is the foundress of Sophia Partners. But and full disclosure, I'm also on the board for Sophia. But we just had a retreat, a board retreat, a couple of weeks ago, and a big thing that came out of that was how um, we want to really, again, make sure we're following our mission of creating caring community and how, the intention was to really see Fond du Lac as this living laboratory of what could be when you invest in a systemic look at what's needed for caring community. And of course, in the Sophia partner's perspective, it's leadership and,
Mm-hmm.
nonprofit support and that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. I don't won't go too far into that, but I really think this living laboratory, I mean, we're letting things unfold. We don't know what's going to happen in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but bringing it back to the people that care, their hearts are in it, they're ready to take action, they want to have these conversations.
And bringing it back to the people in need
Yeah, yeah,
that
obviously
are
we
falling.
need,
Yep.
yeah, we need
Mm-hmm.
those voices, that those are those individuals. I mean, there's no reason to, they need to be at the table with us, or
They
their
do.
voices integrated into any solutions or steps taken.
Nobody knows the system better than someone living in it,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
like you can't ignore that. And I'm also a very big believer. We talk about building bridges a lot,
yeah.
but building I've been in my mind it's a ramp.
You can design whatever kind of bridge you wanted.
Yeah, right, right. But it's like to get up the ladder of Maslow's
Yeah,
hierarchy, there are so many cliffs in our old society. There were so many benefit cliffs and other things that happened that people have were already falling in that way. And if our listeners have perspective and opinions on ways that we can make it more seamless for people to
yeah,
rise in a
yeah.
sense, not
Go
as
from
in
survive to thrive.
right,
Yeah,
right, absolutely.
yeah. And I think I mean, not only will we talk to organizations and the individuals, boots on the ground, I think there could be a really interesting discussion with those that are volunteering. I think you mentioned that a bit,
Yeah,
but also
that
those
would
that
be
are
great.
wanting to donate. I mean, there's so many
Oh,
ways,
yes, yes.
right? Like, what questions and perspectives do they have? So
What information do they want to have, right?
that too.
Like, and I'll call it out. In Fond du Lac, I've been told there's 5 donors in Fond du Lac.
Mm.
And I was like, "What? 5 donors?" And as a business person, I was like, "Okay, you go keep looking at those 5. I'm gonna go to the other." How big is the population now? Like
Oh gosh,
70 something thousand?
I don't even know anymore. I feel like ages ago it was like 45, 50,000, but I'm sure it's grown. It's probably like 20 plus years ago.
I know. I'm like thinking of the population sign that used to be on 23 right
I'm
over
sure.
41. There used to be
Yeah.
one there. I have no idea what it's at
I mean, I
now.
know where we could go to find that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
really irrelevant in the sense of like when we're stuck in tunnel vision and we only see 5, and in reality there's so many.
Yeah.
And what do it's not that those 5 obviously they've been important to Fond du Lac, but we can't they I don't know what their resources are. I highly doubt they could fill the gap here now, right? Like we need to pull together as a community and look at things creatively, and
Yeah.
it's not always the dollars that are given. It's sometimes it's the expertise and the perspective, when what if as consulting on plans of new
Sure.
ventures, right?
Yeah.
Like bringing a business mindset into things, which I know is totally taboo. um but I see it as a
It,
huge benefit that could help. We can
yeah.
learn so much from each
Well, and
other.
I think an important thing to call out here is, so many people, and it's a belief that obviously has been validated in some instances, but like, business does not have to always mean only for profit, right? Like, we'll get into it a bit with the next episode, but like, for people, you can,
Right.
it is a both and.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a black and white
Right.
conversation.
Right.
But there's so much that can happen as far as reinventing and co-creating, to really support people where they're
Mhm.
at and where they want to go.
Mhm. So I hope you are on the journey with us. Did we hit our
We
list?
hit the list.
Look at
I mean,
that.
maybe a little bit of this
What?
a roller
Hey,
coaster ride
we
getting
did
there,
it
but we did it.
in 38 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I think that's probably a record
That's
for
probably
us.
the shortest episode that we've had ever. I mean, we're
uh,
only at like what, 25
Well,
episodes,
here's the
but
thing though. We haven't figured out how to turn on comments because this is our first time. But
yeah.
once we do, I'm really excited to have you guys join in the conversation and be, yes, we do chase squirrels and that might make it more challenging too. But
Oh, sorry, I was trying to see if there were comments. Put the device down.
I am looking forward to that live interaction and to hear the feedback. And if it's like a deeper comment, if we can't hit it on the live
We'll come back.
episode, we will come back. We love going deep. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
And then
the
one to
the
come.
essence of the Red Couch has not changed.
That's right.
Connection, love, really diving like deep conversations, and there's so much potential
Mm-hmm.
in where we're gonna go, and
I'm excited.
yeah, hope you guys are too. So with that,
I think we'll have to shut it off, and I
Yeah.
don't have to figure it out because
well,
Jenny's
I'll
on
do
the
that.
tech.
But with that, I guess if you listened all the way through on this live, thank you.
Woot woot! You made
We
it.
appreciate you so much. We are also going to, as long as technology cooperates, download this and put this out.
We'll put it on our YouTube
yeah,
channel and
on
on
the-
our Facebook
yeah.
page. Yeah.
Well, and just within the Spotify podcast
Oh yeah.
streaming
Yep.
services out
It'll
there as
still
well.
go out all the
So,
places.
yeah,
All
it'll still
right.
be there, so you can listen from the convenience of your car or what. Oh, cat knocking over my stuff. And we'll just have to roll with these go live
Yep.
imperfections, but life. So thank you.
There's our
for-
Midwest goodbye for you. We love you.
Love you.
We'll
Talk to you
see you the next
soon.
one.